What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Folks, we're back here, episode 4, Patrick Gayle Coach's Show, covering Albany State basketball here out of SIAC in Albany, Georgia, here with Coach Gayle. And on special guest today, we previewed last week in episode 3, Clive Williamson here, CMW Sports. We're going to recap last night's game against Georgia Western, preview Tuskegee and Spring Hill, and then talk to Clive about his business, what he has going on today. Coach Gayle, to talk to you, some tough. We'll get to join us after a tough night, but I'm glad you're here. Right on time, 10 a.m. as we do it every Tuesday.
Right on time every Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Gayle, I'll let you just recap the game for. I know it was a tough night for you in the Americas, but let people know about the game and some positive you have coming out of the game last night.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was their home opener. They came in, I believe they came in 3-1, and they had not played on their home court. So they do a great job pushing the pace, and they do a great job scoring the ball. So we ran into a bus. We gave up 40 points in the first half, 44 in the second half, and we're not going to win a lot of games giving up that many points. The bright side, though, we had 40 points in the paint, and we shot 28 free throws on the road. So we didn't shoot it well from 3, but we had 24 points off of just free throws. So that's always good when we can get that many free throws. And my freshman had 17 and 15, and 11 of those 17 points, he missed one free throw, was from the free throw line. So that's encouraging.
No doubt, Coach Gayle. If you can get your guys to be playing downhill and forcing that whistle to come out, because as long as you play downhill, play with force, and play with pace, you force the official to call fouls. That's what I tell young guys myself. Hey, you go downhill, even on the road, they can't not call it everything. So you got to force them that confidence to call it. If you're going out here and going attacking the basket, doing your thing.
That's right. We had 13 assists. Should have had more. We missed a couple of easy ones, and we missed some open shots. But the 17 turnovers killed us, and they were 7 of 19 from the 3-point line, and they had 36 points in the paint, and they had 18 points off of fast breaks. So they had a lot of our scoring. They had a lot of their scoring because were a little bit better, shooting the ball and getting downhill, which you expect at home. So they're a great team. They're going to compete in the Peach Belt, and we got to get better.
No doubt, Coach Gayle. And coming up this Thanksgiving weekend, you step in the SIAC play, Spring Hill and Tuskegee. I know as you get ready to prepare for these two games, the conference games really count. About how you're going to talk about your guys mentally bouncing back from a loss, getting better from this loss, and preparing for a tough two-step in conference right there.
Well, when we got back, they had weights in the morning, but they wanted to lift last night. So we got in the weight room right after we got off the bus. And I think that got a lot of their frustration out. And then I had a good talk with about 5 of our guys, 2 of them being seniors, just about, making sure that we keep this thing going in the right direction and that we don't let this loss stop us from what we're trying to do. And, my point guard had a really good conversation with my assistant coach and I about what he's seeing and what we're expecting from him. And my big man had a good conversation about just us defensively. So we're in the right mindset. We start conference. Spring Hill's a very, very good team. They score the ball well. They beat West Florida recently, so they're a tough team. So they're going to come in very confident, and we got to be ready for them. And then we got to turn around and be ready for Tuskegee. So that's how the conference is, man. Next game up, you better be ready.
No doubt. We're going to claim it right now. 2 victories, especially over somebody. 2 victories. We claiming it right now. 2 victories this weekend. We're claiming it.
Coach Gayle. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did that caused us to lose last night or what I did, but we asked for repentance, Lord. In Jesus' name, we ask for repentance and bring us back to winning ways.
Yes. And Coach, I thought I'd been good off the air.
Well, JR, I'm going to need you to fast a little bit longer. I'm going to need you to refrain from whatever, that temptation is there, my man.
Yes, I will do that, Coach, to make sure that we keep these 2 victories this weekend for sure.
Give all praise, but I gotta give praise to God even in defeat. We learned some things about our team last night, and we got some great guys, and they wanna fix it, and I just wanted to make sure they were in the right mindset, and they are. So I love this team, and I thank the Lord for this team every day. So we'll be fine.
No doubt. We're going to bring in our guest here, Clive Williamson, CMW Sports. And I'm going to let Coach Gayle talk about Mr. Clive and introduce the listeners here. So, Coach Gayle, it's on you, my brother.
Well, thanks, JR. Clive is a good friend of mine. I met him. He was recruiting one of my players a few years ago, Division I transfer by the name of Tyrell Williams. And he's done an excellent job in Tyrell's pro career. But Clive is much bigger than that, man. He's got a few guys right now that he's talking to at every level. And he's got some guys that with another representation would not have G League opportunities and training camp opportunities that Clive gets. He is a worker. He does not sleep. He does his most work when people are sleeping because he's talking to international markets. Great guy. And JR, you know what the best thing about Clive is?
What's that?
Not that he played and was the part of the first team at FAU to make the NCAA tournament. Not that he's a great dad and a great man. He's Jamaican.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's why he's a brother. So again, JR, another brother.
Yes, indeed. Glad to have you, Clive. Let me ask you this, Clive, man, for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how sometimes on rosters your guys are not playing or not getting the playing time they want. So how do you approach that with your player and in the front office to kind of where it don't become like sour between the player, the team and you? So how do you kind of, because I know there's some guys in the league who I talk to now whose agents, in my opinion, aren't doing them any justice by letting them sit and rock on the bench in a contract year. So how do you kind of approach that to say, hey, with your client, discuss, we might need to ask for a release or a trade or something to get you that opportunity?
Yeah, for me, going in for my guys, I tell them right away. Listen, you coming in here. If you're backing up a guy like Trey Young or whoever, just come in here, put pressure on him every day to get seen by the front office. Now, if that doesn't happen, I kind of, start looking around the league and trying to see where else that will fit, right? But just to tell them go in right away to have a good attitude. I think that a lot of guys come in thinking right away they're going to go and shoot 20 shots in the game, 30 shots in the game. And that's not going to happen, especially when you go to a team where they already got a known guard or a guard that they had, 2-3 years ago. Now you got to go in and put pressure on him every night and also help him. So I told my guy to stay ready, stay ready so they have to get ready. And as far as the front office go, I'm always in their ears, telling them, hey, I do believe that my guy could fit this, position better. I think that what I find in the league now with GMs and so forth is that now becomes a politics game, right? And in basketball, you can't play politics. I believe in the best guy should play, right? So if my guys give me a guy bucket in practice, and put them on his ease every time, I feel like my guys should play more. But I just kind of tell my guys, man, to stay ready and be confident. And in the meantime, we're going to be looking around in regards to, contracts and when they're free to be able to move them on to other teams.
No doubt, Clive. I think that's so important because, when you work for your clients and you work for your guys, they really trust and believe in you. And I believe that sometimes some agents just let their dudes ride away and just focus on certain clients, not everybody up and down the roster. And I feel like having to touch everybody on your client roster and making sure they all are good, not just your top ones bringing the most money. Very important in business, but some of them do. They only focus on their top guys bringing the most commission.
I think that's right away. I mean, as a player, you get that, right? So I used to play, so I always wanted an agent that no matter if I wasn't a Kobe Bryant, I wasn't the the LeBrons or whatever, but I still wanted an agent that trusts and believe in me and understand that I'm gonna get the job done, but give me the same respect and the same time as you give those guys, right? And when I started my agency, I wanted to make guys understand that we're a family here, and each of you guys will get my time and the same equal time. And I'm gonna put out the same effort that I do with the top guy, from the mid guy, from the low guy, right? So it's just a constant body of work. Then a lot of players don't understand how hard an agent works. And when a guy get released from a team, yes, he's hurt, but the agent feels it too. You know what I mean? Because the agent then put out that body of work, convincing the team and doing all this, preparation, and I just tell my guys, man, you do your job, make my job even easier, right? Because one thing I hate to do is beg or sound like begging, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to make sure when my guy's good, now we going in there, we just negotiate. We just, talking, okay, numbers, all right? And how can this team fit and benefit, my client? So I think that what I put a lot of pressure on my guys, so it's easier to get the job done. Hey, make sure you're in the gym. What time you going to the gym? Even if I got to be at the gym with them. All right, before I sign a player, I work them out, right? And what I look for the little things. Because a lot of players now they don't want to do the little things and they don't want to tweak these things. And they don't understand that the game is like that. The game now is faster, more space in the game now, and you got to sometimes be a spacer on the floor. So it's a lot of things that will cause a guy not to play, but I just try to encourage him every time.
No doubt, Clive. I think it's so important you work out your guys because you got to know because we're representing them. Also, you're putting yourself on the line for them. You need a guy who's going to represent you very well. And how has the two-way contract in the NBA really helped you out with your clients? Because now you have these extra jobs now that you can get your guys on a two-way contract, and the G League is getting better and better as well. Because guys welcome to the NBA, but or if you have to send them over to FIBA in Europe or Asia somewhere, well, Australia to the NBL down there as well.
Well, what the two way does, now each team allow three two way, right? So it helps a lot of guys who those guys get three two way contract, which is they have the smaller guys who coming in either from a local tryout base. This year I had a guy that came from a local tryout, right? And had the opportunity to go to training camp and fill a spot, right? Then now that two-way player won't spend as much time with the G League roster. He gets to play a majority of his game, and it's in the NBA. So the team's going to need those other guys who are or who never get the playing time and the recognition that they need, who are not on a two-way contract, right? So it helped those lower level guys who are really trying to get playing time, because what people don't understand about the G League, nobody want to be there. It's funny because a GM told me that. He says, well, all these, it's like JUCO, right? Every guy's fighting to get to that top spot, right? So your guy got to come in, and once he's in there, to get the show what he can do and get a playing time. So the two-way helps, those G League guys who not playing as much. So when those guys move up to the NBA and playing their games in the NBA, the G League team has to fill, those time slot in the game. So it helps them a lot. I love what the G League is doing. And I think they believe they're getting their own office, which help them to get more on the financial side, to do more things. I would love to see if they have more teams, which will help a lot of talent. So a guy don't have to go to Europe and play. You know what I mean? Most guys, if you notice, most American guys don't want to go to Europe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, not the European market, because you got great places in Europe, a great thing, but and if you're not going to a Euro League team or a top team in Europe, the situation will be different from you in America. So a lot of American guys are trying to stay here in America, right? While the European guys are trying to come here, right, and play in our league. So it makes the game so much more competitive. I think the game is in a good place. I just sometimes it's a lot of politics in the game, which sometimes ruins the game as well.
Yeah, like I feel like even here at Coach Gayle's level, the lower D1 level, a lot of guys get looked over because of where they played at. Not even the NFL too. They get looked over because of they played at HBCU school. Only one guy got drafted in the NFL from HBCU school. I feel like that sometimes these scouts don't come to HBCU schools and don't do what they need to do. Now, granted, Robert Covington made the league for my school, but it's rare that you can just make the league from HBCU school now or lower D1 or D2 without having to go through the grind of the G League, undrafted free agent, maybe go overseas and come back over. So how can we get these GM scouts to look cast more wide than just the Power 5 or Group of 6 schools, and just say this is who we're gonna draft from?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of GMs need to broaden their horizon. I mean, that's funny. I was talking to one GM, and we got in the conversation. He's like, "Well, your guys ain't good enough because he played D2." What? That don't even make sense to me, right? Because he can come in right now and run your team and dominate just because he plays maybe a D2 school. It's a knock, and I think that they just going for, kind of like a cookie cutter, right? Are we going to go to the ACC? We're going to go to the SEC, and things like Big Ten and all, and et cetera. Which, for me, not because a guy played D1 that don't make him a really good player, right? It just mean that, well, guess what? He does some things, but maybe he was more dedicated. Maybe his grades was better than the guy that played, D2, and it could be several reasons, right? To me, I think that we need to start, looking a lot more in as far as D2 D1. Even I go as far as guys who even played, top JUCO, right? Who could really play. And I think that they got to cast in that a lot wider if they want to get a better product on the floor. Because what I've seen out there is good, but I've seen some guys in the G, even some guys who are NBA guys. And I feel like, man, that guy just there, to get a check. I didn't think he loved the game like that. And I think that once we start refining and start looking and all those type of things, I think we're gonna find the talent that we need. The league's gonna be a lot better. But I think now the league is start going a lot more overseas now. I mean, if you look at the draft and last few couple of years, they drop a lot of overseas guys. I mean, are they ready to play in the league? Some. So it varies. But I like the league where the league is going, both G League and the NBA. We just have to take the politics out of it a little bit and give guys open opportunity and spreading that a little wider.
No doubt. And also, I don't super wanted to make the draft be 2 nights. And I'm like, brother, from pick 43 on down, it's probably a two-way guy. Nobody wants to watch that. And so, how do you negotiate with a GM or if you have a guy's second round grade on him to not put him on a tour or actually give him a real contract, especially now with the second round exception now, that's from on a two-way deal, or as the European guys who draft and stash him, so you don't have to burn a roster spot right away per se.
Well, that's the game now. Draft and stash. They can stash a guy over there for 2-3 years and bring him back over. I mean, I think I've seen they just brought a guy over that was drafted in 5-6 years ago, and they just brought him over. I'm like, where this guy been? Um, and I think that's why they created the G. I think the G allowed them to be able to hire a guy, and say, okay, well, listen, we don't have a roster spot for him, but we're gonna park you here until we need you. And I think they should only. You're right. They should have less pick. Just pick guys that seriously they're going to use. I think they cut it down in the last couple of years. I think it was last year was less. Also, they're taking these young guys too. They're taking these young guys. So if you're a 4-year guy, automatically you're a second rounder. I mean, it's that nobody taking 4-year guys anymore, right? Everyone is taking. You got to be at least 20 years old. Like 20 years old, I think that's like the number now, right? 19, 20, you're automatically a first round, and I watched the draft this year and I was pulling for Cam, Cam Whitmore and he dropped late. I feel like he should have been, a little bit more, and when you look at things like that, you're like, man, here's a guy who went to play college basketball, right? Did his thing, and he still dropped out late, right? Then you got a guy, and I'm no knocking, OTE and things like that, but you got these young guys that come in and you tell them they have to go and play 82 games, and now they have the in-game season now, all these things who have never been in a college setting and play that competition. You want them now to be able to play, in the NBA at a high level. And I feel like they have to be careful with that. That doesn't water down the game. You know what I mean? So, hopefully, that will change a little bit and not taking too many young guys, so early in the first round and kind of mix it a little bit.
No doubt. And like also you sit on these teams in a lottery forever because like you get these young 19, 20-year-old dudes who don't know the game and they're throwing them out there based on athleticism alone. And they don't know the game. You got these elaborate schemes and learning a new language, learning how to do certain things to the NBA to high level of basketball, and they can't get it. Which is because they weren't taught that in college because the game is different from college and the NBA. But it's just the way of the world right now. But and then with the cap exploding, That it's crazy.
Yes.
Clive, as
Yes.
Clive, as an agent now, I'm gonna just be tell you, I talk to players all the time, some agents too. The
Mm-hmm.
CBA is not very. People I talk to, it was not very well liked. What are your thoughts on the new NBA CBA as an agent, knowing with the apron now and the certain things we have, the restrict player movement? So, what's your thoughts on the new CBA?
Man, the new CBA, it changed the game a lot. But I think that it was no stopping it. They had to do that. I think I won't say I'm in favor or in favor of it, but it gives teams, the range now to be able to go out and sign a guy at a $300 million, contract, which for me, what it does is it help teams to keep guys, right? Because guys normally bounce around because hey, this team doesn't have the high budget, right, to pay me, and I want more money. So what happens now? They end up moving, even though they have their bird right and all this stuff. It allow guys to, teams to keep guys and give them a bigger budget. Now, is that going to ruin the game? You give a guy that much money, is he really going to play as hard? You paid him already, So I think that, in some way you got to look at the pros and cons of it. But I mean, I won't say I hate it. I won't say I love it. It's just that now they have so many things in there, even smoking and things like that, and also what it gives the guys also though, that they can invest. It's everything's about money now, and I think that's where the game is going, and they're giving the players that they can invest in certain things that God, people could bet on games now, right? And the betting part of it. So it gives the players freedom, but which is a player's game today in today's game, but they need just to be careful of how much freedom they give, right? So I'm not in favor or favor. I just think that it's going to be an eye opener. And it's early to tell, which way it's going to swing. But we'll see. I don't get paid to make those type of decisions. they ask us, they ask us to vote on one or two things in those meetings.
I feel you. I think the middle class is going to get squeezed. It's going to be two max guys and the minimums, and you're going to get that middle class going to get squeezed. And then since you can trade the level exceptions as a trade exception now, that might not get used in July now. So that's going to cost money too, right there. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, and it's true, and I think that you would say maybe it fit to the high level guys, right? It pegged to the high level guys to break the bank.
And it was, I think, somebody being petty who got beat by Golden State. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what these rules are, the Golden State Warrior rules. I ain't gonna say who was being petty, but that's what I was told. And I still pleaded myself too.
It sure looked like that, man. It sure looked like that. But I think they have to do some adjustment, which I think they will. I think they're going to see how it plays out. Because I thought it was going to go back to 18. That was on the table, like a bargaining chip to go back to kids coming out of high school, and things like that. And now, with everything that the NCAA is doing, the rules are changing, so everything I think plays a role into creating this CBA. And the players surely got what they want, though. A lot of the things the players surely got what they want, into this. So, we just got to see how it plays out. But I'm not favor or in favor of it. I just thinking that yes, somebody got petty. I can say and say, you know what, they can't win anymore. Maybe we gotta put a cap on this thing.
Yes.
But I think that we just got to wait to see. But yes, you're right. It pegged to the high level guys, I think, more than to the middle guys in the middle. So we just get to see how it's going to work out.
I expect a lot of movement this trade deadline before July 1st when the new rules really kick in. So a lot of guys, a lot of salary dumps coming here. trade deadline and in June with the draft, get their house in order before July 1st comes. You don't want to be a second apron team right now when they can't get mid-level taxpayer, mid-level exception, freezing your draft picks. You can't take back more money in trade. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. Deadline here in June to trying to draft to get people's books in order.
I think that, for me, I'm looking at, Zach LaVine, and he's like, I want out. I want to be traded. And, where he's going to go. So I look at things like that, like where he's going to go. And that changed a lot in where he end up. This is a top guy who don't want to be in Chicago anymore, right? And I think that franchise now is going to miss a big part of, scoring, and leadership. So, what move they're going to make, So it's interesting. I like where the league is going, but also I think that they have to put kind of reel it back a little bit when it comes to how much freedom the players have so much. I think that because, they're not representing players, but that can go where guys say, hey, man, I want $400 million. I'm going. Now, what do a team say to that?
Mm-hmm. Especially if you can't replace them.
Exactly. So what do you do? And they're going to take those guys, like you look at a guy like Tatum, he's going to want his money. Now, you don't pay this guy 300 something, right? So you got to pay me now, right? Now, the guys below, what are they going to get? They're getting chump change. The guy below them, are you going to be able to keep Ingus?
Exactly.
So this is where it gets sticky.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of teams won't be paying that luxury tax probably.
Yep. Paying the tax, but below the second apron. But I can say this, the Atlanta Hawks ain't paying no taxes. I can tell you that for real. They ain't paying no taxes in Atlanta. They're going to duck the tax every time in Atlanta. Anybody who says I'm lying, no, I'm not lying. To our biggest fan out there, Coach Gayle.
JR, what do we talk about? So now I got to go and say a special prayer after this because you won't just stick to the game plan, JR. Come on now.
Listen, the game is in a good place. I just think that the highest spending team going to spend that money.
No doubt. Yeah, I can't wait to see you. Coach Gayle, Cloud, this has been great. Coach Gayle, you have close statements, Coach Gayle, for Cloud.
I appreciate, and we're blessed to have Mr. Williamson on, but I would love for Clive to take maybe 30 seconds and just, give some mentorship to anyone out there that wants to do what you're doing. You look like $1 million. I know how hard you work, and the conversation you guys had about the league. A lot of kids don't even realize what they just got blessed with those jewels in the business of the game. So, Clive, you could just take 30 seconds to just talk about what it takes to get in a position like yours for any young man that might be watching right now.
All right, if any one of you guys out there who want to become agents, let's start there first. First, you got to definitely stay in school, get your degree. I think that's one of the rules that you have to have a bachelor's degree at least, and try to just make connections. Network is the most important thing, because you can have all these degrees and things like that, all these licenses. But if you don't go out there and really network and, be in these GM's ears and be around and learn the game and understand, then it will be very difficult for you. But I think that, and also learn the sport. You got to know what you're looking at. If you want to recruit, if you want to, represent these guys, you got to actually, learn the sport, know the sport. And I think that with that, you'd be fine as far as, a starting point. Also, get to know a few college coaches and go to a couple of games. A lot of games you got to go to. You got to watch a lot of basketball. For my athletes out there, if you want to get to the next level, it's work. Got to work. It's work never hurts anyone. All right, he's got to stay, go hard, and confident. Confidence, I think, is a big part. You can be in the gym till you're blue in the face. You can work hard and be in the gym for 5 hours, but when it comes game time, you can't show up. Right? You got to show up every time, and with that, just stay blessed and believe in yourself. And I think you'll be fine in anything that you do.
I was one of the teams to call him, JR. So I know Clive, we appreciate your time, man. I know, but make sure you call them GMs back, man. Call them GMs back. Be professional. We're professional on the Patrick Gayle show.
I always call them GMs back.
Yes, that's a bust.
Clive is one of the most professional, hardest working agents that I know. He's only going to get bigger and better, and I'm just thankful and blessed that he could join us. So we really appreciate you, Clive.
And thanks for having me, guys. I do appreciate it. Listening, JR, I learned, so much. I'm hearing you talk, man, and definitely love to meet you in the future in person. You seem like a guy who knows stuff. So definitely like to pick that brain a little bit more.
Oh, no, Clive. I got a lot for you off there. I can't say on there, brother. Just know that. All right, there, folks. This has been episode 4 of the Patrick Gayle Show featuring Clive live here with us doing his thing, CMW Sports. Check him out on LinkedIn as well. You see his banner in the background, CMW Sports. Need an agent. I love my man, Clive. Coach Gayle, so JR. Have a blessed day. We're out.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.